freely given all things. Now we have not received the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God, so that we may know the things freely given to us by God, being justified as a gift freely by His grace, through the redemption which is in Messiah Yeshua. I will heal their apostasy. I will love them freely, because my anger has turned away from them. Yahweh God commanded the man, saying, from all the trees of the garden you may freely eat. He who did not spare His own Son, but delivered Him over for us all, how will He not also with Him freely give us all things? Yours, Yahweh, is all the greatness, all the power, all the glory, all the victory, and all the majesty, indeed all that is in the heavens and on the earth. Yours is the dominion, Yahweh, and you exalt yourself as head over all. Both riches and honor come from you, and you rule over all. And in your hand is all power and all might, and it lies in your hand to make great and to strengthen all. This is what Yahweh says, He who is your Redeemer, and the one who formed you from the womb. I, Yahweh, am the maker of all things, stretching out the heavens by myself and spreading out the earth alone. Yet for us there is only one God, the Father, from whom are all things, and we exist for Him, and one Adonai, Yeshua Messiah, by whom are all things, and we exist through Him. All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, nor does anyone know the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son determines to reveal Him. All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows who the Son is except the Father, and who the Father is except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son determines to reveal Him. Yeshua, knowing that the Father had handed all things over to Him, and that He had come forth from God and was going back to God, got up from supper and laid His outer garments aside, and He took a towel and tied it around Himself. Then He poured water into the basin and began washing the disciples' feet and wiping them with the towel which He had tied around Himself. And He put all things in the subjection under His feet, and made Him head over all things to the church, which is His body, the fullness of Him who fills all in all. For by Him all things were created, both in the heavens and on the earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions, or rulers or authorities. All things have been created through Him and for Him. He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. He is also the head of the body, the church, and He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, so that He Himself will come to have first place in all things. For it was the Father's good pleasure for all the fullness to dwell in Him, and through Him to reconcile all things to Himself, whether things on earth or things in heaven, having made peace through the blood of His cross. In these last days He has spoken to us in His Son, whom He appointed heir of all things, through whom He also made the world. And He is the radiance of His glory, and the exact representation of His nature, and upholds all things by the word of His power. When He had made purification of sins, He sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high. And looking at them, Yeshua said to them, with people this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. But Yeshua said to him, if you can, all things are possible for the one who believes. I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. And whatsoever you ask in prayer, believing, you will receive it all. Blessed be the God and Father of Adonai Yeshua Messiah, who has blessed us with all spiritual blessings in the heavenly places in Messiah. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God, and all things came into being through Him, and apart from Him not even one thing came into being that has come into being. So then, no one is to be boasting in people, for all things belong to you, whether Paul or Apollos or Cephas or the world, or life or death, or things present or things to come. All things belong to you, and you belong to Messiah, and Messiah belongs to God. And through Him everyone who believes is freed from all things from which you could not be freed through the law of Moses. And God is able to make all grace overflow to you, so that always having all sufficiency in all things, you may have an abundance for every good deed. And we know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. But in all these things we overwhelmingly conquer through Him who loved us. Always giving thanks for all things in the name of Adonai Yeshua Messiah to our God and Father. And He died for all, so that those who live will no longer live for themselves, but for Him who died and rose on their behalf. Every good thing given and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shifting shadow. Some of what we are freely given, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. But as many as received Him, to them He gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in His name. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those with leprosy, and cast out demons. Freely you receive, freely give. For His divine power has granted to us all things pertaining to life and godliness, through the true knowledge of Him who called us by His own glory and excellence. Through these He has granted to us His precious and magnificent promises, so that by them you may become partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world on account of lust. Now we have not received the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God, so that we may know the things freely given to us by